Forget paradise. Forget rhythm and sun. Today, the Caribbean Sea is hosting the largest, most aggressive military mobilization it has seen since the Cold War. We're talking about nuclear supercarriers, destroyers, and over 10,000 U.S. troops sailing in waters right next to our regional brothers. The official claim? A war on narco-terrorism. The reality? It's a crisis that has dragged our zone of peace directly into a geopolitical firing line. The Caribbean community, CARICOM, knows exactly how high the stakes are. Regional leaders are trying to fight for peace and sovereignty, because if this conflict explodes, no island stays untouched. Washington says this is about chasing the trendy Aragua gang and the Cartel de los Soles. They point to over 20 strikes on alleged drug vessels, resulting in over 80 deaths. But look at the evidence. Nuclear submarines and supercarriers are not standard anti-drug tools. The scale of this operation is designed for one thing: regime change. Venezuela has the world's largest oil reserves. For critics, this campaign is a clear pretext, an attempt to rob Venezuela of its oil wealth and reassert control over the Western Hemisphere, a new test of the old Monroe Doctrine. They are signaling to Nicolas Maduro, "You are next." And to the rest of us, they are saying, "Choose a side." This tension has exposed a dangerous crack right within CARICOM. While the regional body insists on a zone of peace, demanding all disputes be resolved peacefully, some neighbors are actively helping the U.S. Look at Trinidad and Tobago. Their prime minister has been alarmingly supportive of the U.S. actions. But here is the critical detail. T&T reportedly approved the installation of a U.S. military-grade radar system, a sophisticated piece of hardware, just 7 miles from the Venezuelan coast. This moves a CARICOM nation from neutral observer to a potential direct launch pad and a target in a geopolitical conflict. And it forces Caribbean leaders to fight back against the narrative that the Caribbean is simply going along with the plan. The cost of this posturing is already being paid in human lives. The UN High Commissioner for Human Rights has officially stepped in, rejecting the U.S. argument that these deadly strikes fall under the law of armed conflict. This is a law enforcement issue, and critics are calling the unflagged vessel strikes extrajudicial killings. If this situation explodes into full war, the humanitarian fallout will be catastrophic. Venezuela has already created one of the world's largest refugee flows, with over 9 million refugees. A conflict would send millions more flooding into small islands like Trinidad, Aruba, and Curaçao, completely overwhelming their resources. So, how does the Caribbean survive being trapped between a global superpower armed with missiles and a regional power armed with oil? The experts agree. The answer is unity and foresight. CARICOM must demand an emergency UN session. We must accelerate energy independence with renewables, and we must strengthen regional coordination to handle the looming refugee wave. But most of all, we must speak with one voice. The moment the Caribbean is successfully divided, the zone of peace collapses. The Caribbean's power lies in unity and its insistence on peace. The survival of the entire region depends on if that message cuts through. What do you think? Did this operation ever have anything to do with drugs? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe to stay ahead of this story.